This was actually the size of the jars that Jesus spoke of when he said, fill 6 jars with water, and they turned into wine. So we are in a church that is over the site of where the wedding at Cana took place. And this is where Jesus' first recorded miracle took place. We are standing right next to, this was actually the size of the jars that Jesus spoke of when he said, fill 6 jars with water, and they turned into wine. When Mary came to Jesus frantic, saying we're out of wine, at that time it was considered very embarrassing at a wedding feast, correct, to run out of wine like that and not have it for the guests. And so Jesus doing this miracle was actually an act of consideration and mercy, and then allowing the bridegroom to take the credit for it, so that he would not have to be embarrassed. And so that's something that just on a personal side I thought was very unique about this miracle. But tell us some of the other really rich elements of this, because this story is filled with symbolism of all kinds.
Yeah, it's amazing, but I just love, even on a very human level, how he just honors his mom. Right. You know, it's like the 10 Commandments, honor your mother and father. It wasn't his time, but he loves his mom. He's going to honor her. He's going to help. There's a problem. He doesn't want the shame and all of that to happen to this couple on their wedding day. And I love how he says, fill them to the brim.
Right. Well, with his mother, there's also a little bit of playfulness too, because when she first comes to him and he says, well, what does this have to do with me? As if, why would you think I could do anything about it? And she's like, come on, I know you better than this. Like, you can help. And what I love about it too is she kind of turned to the servants and said,
do whatever he tells you.
It was like she knew what he was going to do already, right?
Yeah, I love it because it's such an important spiritual lesson. She won't take no for an answer.
Right.
And sometimes with God, we just have to have the faith and say, God, you know, we need your help. We need you to show up. But I love it that this is the first miracle that he does. And oftentimes we don't think of all the miracles he could have done. Why is the first miracle the turning the water into wine? And I think really the significance of it is that the New Testament and the Gospels is trying to show him as a greater than Moses. Sure. What's the first miracle Moses did? And this is right around the Passover that he does this. Moses turns the water into blood. But Jesus doesn't come to bring death, he comes to bring life. So he doesn't turn the water into blood, he turns the water into wine, because wine is the symbol of the Messianic kingdom, that the mountains will drip with sweet wine, that he came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. John 10:10 miracle is part of the meaning of the first.
And not just a little bit of life, of abundant, overflowing.
Overflowing, fill it to the brim, to the maximum. That's God's goodness and his graciousness towards us.
Right. And so like always, these miracles that Jesus performed were never just about the thing. They were always about a deeper level.
Yeah, and it's about really, it's a new creation miracle. God takes something ordinary and he turns it into something extraordinary. And what he does with the water into wine is exactly what he does in the life of all the people that he encounters. He completely transforms them and makes them into something completely new and better.
Well, and the final thing that really appealed to me too about capturing this on screen was the fact that Jesus was a God of celebration. I mean, we sometimes think of him as solemn, but this was like, he was about celebrating and bringing life, and that's what wine brought to that wedding as well, right?
Absolutely. Symbol of joy. No great celebration is done without joy, without wine.
Jesus, a happy, celebratory God. It's a crazy concept, but it's one of the things that made him so precious and special to the people around him.
Who is he? I can't pretend I didn't see a miracle. He gave us even more than we need.